The morning sun glowed softly over the city of Nova Prime. Towering buildings reflected its golden light, and flying vehicles zipped through the sky like glowing streaks. On the ground, people moved quickly along wide streets, each busy with their own purpose. Among them, a young man named Rilo walked with careful steps. He was not very tall, but his eyes shone with curiosity and determination. Rilo carried a small backpack, its weight reminding him that today would be unlike any other day he had experienced. Rilo worked as a junior engineer at the Nova Prime spaceport. Every day, he repaired small machines and assisted with starship maintenance. He loved his work, not because it was easy, but because it connected him to the universe beyond his city. He dreamed of seeing distant planets, touching the surface of stars unknown and understanding the mysteries of the galaxies. But for now, he had to focus on the task in front of him. Today, the spaceport had received a strange cargo from the outer sectors, and Rilo had been assigned to inspect it. As he entered the spaceport, the familiar hum of engines filled the air. Workers moved with precision, some guiding cargo pods while others checked starship logs. Rilo walked past the docking stations, his eyes catching the shine of new ships waiting to be repaired. He felt a surge of excitement. Soon he would be working on something extraordinary. The cargo was stored in a large container at the edge of the spaceport. A team of engineers had already begun unloading it. The container was sealed with a special lock, one that required both skill and knowledge to open. Rilo approached the lead engineer, a tall woman named Mira. She had short hair and a confident stride, and her eyes always seemed to notice everything around her. "Rilo, you're just in time," Mira said, smiling. "We need someone to check the energy readings on this shipment. It's unusual and the sensors are acting strange." Rilo nodded. "I'll do my best," he replied. He moved closer to the container, careful not to disturb the workers around him. He attached his scanner to the lock and waited for the results. The device hummed softly, lights blinking in a pattern that Rilo had memorized long ago. Suddenly, the scanner beeped rapidly and the readings spiked. "What is it?" Mira asked, leaning over his shoulder. I'm not sure," Rilo said. "The energy levels are much higher than normal. It's like something is alive inside." The other engineers exchanged worried looks. Mira shook her head. "We need to be careful. If this cargo is unstable, it could damage the entire spaceport." Rilo took a deep breath. He had faced difficult situations before, but this felt different. Something about the reading seemed intelligent. He ran a few more scans, comparing the data to known energy sources. Nothing matched. Not human, not alien, nothing from the outer sectors he had studied. Mira nodded slowly. "Then we have to open it. Carefully. I want you and Jaro to lead this." Jaro was another young engineer, taller and stronger than Rilo. He was brave, but sometimes acted without thinking. Rilo hoped Jaro would follow instructions today. Together, they carefully unlocked the container. Inside, a soft glow filled the space around them. The cargo was not a machine, nor was it a common supply pod. It was a crystalline sphere, hovering slightly above the container floor, spinning slowly. Its surface shimmered with colors that seemed to change depending on the angle. Rilo could feel warmth coming from it. He reached out, but Mira stopped him. "Do not touch it yet. Let's analyze it first." Jaro stepped closer, his eyes wide with amazement. "It's beautiful," he whispered. "But what is it?" Rilo activated his scanner. The device struggled to read the energy inside the sphere. It was alive, yes, but not in a way they could understand. It pulsed gently, almost like it was breathing. Mira frowned. "This is no ordinary cargo. We need to report this to the Space Council immediately." As Rilo and Jaro examined the sphere, a small voice echoed in the room. "Do not be afraid," they froze. No one else was in the container bay. The voice was soft, calm, and carried a strange authority. Rilo looked at Mira, who seemed equally surprised. "Did you hear that?" he asked. Mira nodded. "I heard it. Everyone, stay calm. This could be a communication." The sphere pulsed faster, and the voice spoke again. "I am called Luma. I have traveled far across the stars. I seek those who can help protect the galaxies from the coming darkness." Rilo stepped back, unsure whether he should be scared or amazed. He had read about alien intelligence and mysterious life forms, but this was the first time he had ever experienced it. Jaro rubbed his eyes. "Are we dreaming?" he asked. "I don't think so," Rilo said quietly. "The sensors confirm it. The energy is real. The voice is real. Mira's expression became serious. We need to move quickly. If Luma is here, it is for a reason. We should take this to the council and explain everything. Before they could act, alarms blared across the spaceport. Red lights flashed and automated announcements warned of a security breach. Rilo's heart raced. What now? He asked. Someone is trying to take Luma, Mira said. We have to protect it. The engineers moved quickly, guiding the sphere into a secure transport pod. Rilo helped, careful not to disturb the delicate object. As they moved through the spaceport, shadowy figures appeared at the edges of their vision. They were fast and they moved like hunters. Rilo realized that Luma's arrival was not a coincidence. Someone or something wanted it for their own purpose. Yarrow drew a small energy blaster from his belt. We'll fight if we have to, he said, his voice steady despite the fear in his eyes. Rilo nodded. He had never fired a weapon in his life, but he trusted Yarrow. Together they guided the pod through the spaceport, dodging attackers and weaving through corridors. Luma pulsed gently in the pod as if reassuring them. Finally, they reached the transport docks where a small shuttle awaited. Mira opened the pod compartment. This shuttle will take us to the council safely. Hold on tight. Rilo, Yarrow, and Mira climbed inside, securing the pod. The engines roared to life and the shuttle lifted off. As they left Nova Prime behind, Rilo looked out at the city below. Everything seemed normal from this height, but he knew life would never be the same. The discovery of Luma, the mysterious energy, and the attackers chasing them meant that the universe had just opened a door to something far greater than he could imagine. Inside the shuttle, the sphere glowed brighter. Its voice echoed once more. Rilo, Yarrow, Mira, you have been chosen. Your courage and curiosity will shape the future of humanity. The galaxies are vast and full of wonder. Darkness is coming, but together we can protect what is good. Rilo felt a shiver run down his spine. He had always dreamed of exploring the stars, but now it was more than a dream. It was a mission. The safety of countless worlds depended on them. As the shuttle sped toward the council headquarters, Rilo allowed himself a small smile. For the first time in his life, he felt truly alive. The stars were waiting, and he was ready to meet them. The universe was calling, and humanity had just taken its first step into a greater destiny. The shuttle glided silently through the upper atmosphere of Nova Prime. Outside, the clouds shimmered with the colors of dawn, while inside, tension filled the cabin. Rilo sat near the pod holding Luma, his hands gripping the edges of the seat as he tried to calm his racing thoughts. Yarrow scanned the instruments, his brow furrowed, while Mira quietly monitored the shuttle's path. The events at the spaceport felt unreal, yet the energy of Luma confirmed that everything was happening exactly as it seemed. Luma pulsed gently in its pod, the soft glow casting moving patterns on the walls of the shuttle. Its voice spoke again, clear and calm. The council will guide you, but you must be prepared. Darkness grows beyond the known galaxies, and your choices will influence the survival of many worlds. Rilo swallowed hard. How can we help? He asked. His voice sounded small compared to the vastness of the universe they had just entered. You already have begun, Luma replied. Curiosity and courage are more powerful than most realize. Soon you will see what lies beyond the stars, and you will learn that humans can achieve what others believe impossible. Yarrow leaned back in his seat. I thought we were just engineers, he muttered. Now we're part of some cosmic mission. It feels unreal. Mira placed a hand on his shoulder. It does, but sometimes reality chooses us for reasons beyond our understanding. Focus on what we can do now. We have to reach the council safely. The shuttle hummed steadily as it entered orbit. The city of Nova Prime shrank beneath them, a glittering jewel against the dark canvas of space. Ahead, the council headquarters floated above the planet, a structure shaped like a spiraling crystal that reflected the sun's light in every direction. It was a place of authority, knowledge, and decision. As the shuttle docked, security drones scanned the pod holding Luma. Each scan returned positive results. The sphere was stable, and its energy levels posed no immediate threat. Still, the council demanded caution. Humans had seen many strange things in the outer sectors, but a living intelligence of this nature was unprecedented. The doors opened with a soft hiss, and Rilo, Yarrow, and Mira stepped onto the council's platform. Tall figures in flowing robes awaited them, their expressions calm yet attentive. Each council member carried a device that recorded energy readings, allowing them to sense Luma without direct contact. A woman with silver hair approached. Her voice was gentle yet commanding. "We have been monitoring unusual signals from Nova Prime. Your arrival confirms our concerns." "What is the nature of this intelligence?" Mira stepped forward. "It arrived as cargo from the outer sectors. Its energy levels are far beyond anything we have measured. It speaks and it identifies itself as Luma. It claims to have traveled across the galaxy seeking allies to protect against a growing darkness." The council members exchanged looks, murmuring quietly among themselves. Rilo felt a mixture of pride and fear. He had never spoken before the council, and now he stood before the most powerful minds in the galaxy. The silver-haired woman turned back to them. "We will study Luma immediately. Your presence is necessary, as it has specifically chosen you to assist. You must remain close and follow all instructions. The coming days will test your knowledge, your courage, and your spirit." Rilo nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. "We will do our best," he said, his voice steady despite the nervous energy in his chest. Luma's glow brightened. "Do not fear. The path is difficult, but your strength lies in unity and hope. Together, you will help humanity rise beyond what is known." The council led them to a secure chamber, where Luma could communicate freely without interference. As they entered, the sphere hovered at the center of a circular platform, its light filling the room. Rilo, Jaro, and Mira circled it cautiously, observing how it moved subtly in response to their presence. A holographic map appeared above Luma, displaying a vast section of the galaxy. Stars, planets, and strange anomalies dotted the display, each pulsing with energy. "This is where darkness stirs," Luma explained. "Beyond these stars, a force gathers. It seeks to consume or enslave life across galaxies. Humanity stands at a threshold. Your species has potential beyond what you realize." Rilo pointed at a cluster of red glowing points. "Those are the dangerous areas?" "Yes," Luma said. "Those systems are influenced or controlled by forces seeking chaos. Many species have fallen. Humans are young yet resilient. You can learn quickly and adapt where others fail." Jaro leaned forward, curiosity overtaking fear. "How do we fight something like that?" "We're just humans. Strength is not always measured in size or power," Luma replied. "It is measured in heart, intellect, and the ability to work together. Humans have qualities others lack. That is why I chose you." The council observed quietly as if absorbing the sphere's words. Then one member spoke. "If humans are to act as protectors, we must prepare them. They will need training, technology, and understanding of interstellar diplomacy." Rilo felt a spark of excitement. "Training? Technology? Are we going to explore other worlds?" "Yes," Mira said, her eyes bright. "This is what you have been waiting for. The universe is opening to us, and it is time to step forward." For the next hours, the council introduced them to advanced simulations and tools. They trained with energy-based devices that amplified thought and reaction. They learned navigation across uncharted regions, survival in hostile environments, and communication with distant species. Rilo discovered he had an aptitude for understanding alien systems, while Jaro excelled in tactical exercises. Mira, as always, maintained balance between caution and curiosity. Luma guided them gently, teaching them patience and observation. "Do not rush," it advised. "The universe is vast. Your understanding grows with experience. Even small actions can create great change." As the day turned to night, the three humans sat together, exhausted but exhilarated. They had already experienced more than they could have imagined in a lifetime. Yet Luma's presence reminded them that their journey had only begun. "Do you think we can really make a difference?" Rilo asked quietly, staring at the sphere. "Yes," Luma replied. "You carry the hope of your species. Fear is natural, but it must not guide your choices. Courage, understanding, and unity will lead you forward." Jaro shook his head, a small smile on his face. "I never thought I'd leave Nova Prime, let alone train to defend the galaxy. It's amazing and terrifying at the same time." Mira placed a hand on his shoulder. "That is the feeling of growth. You are stepping beyond limits. That is what humanity can do. Never forget it." The council allowed them to rest for the night, but sleep was not easy. Rilo dreamt of stars swirling around him, of strange beings observing him, and of countless worlds depending on his decisions. He woke with a new determination. He had to rise to the challenge. For the sake of his friends, for the sake of humanity, and for the unknown wonders waiting in the vast darkness of space. The next morning, a message arrived from a distant sector. A planet named Viralia had sent a distress signal. Its energy readings indicated a nearby anomaly similar to Luma, but corrupted, unstable, and dangerous. The council convened and decided that Rilo, Jaro, and Mira would be the first humans to investigate. "This will test everything you have learned," the silver-haired counselor said. "Be careful. Luma will guide you, but the galaxy is unpredictable. Your unity will be your greatest asset." The humans prepared for departure. Luma hovered above the shuttle pod, its light steady and reassuring. As they lifted off, the council watched silently. The universe beyond Nova Prime awaited, full of unknown challenges, but also full of promise. During the journey, Luma communicated lessons of diplomacy and observation. Not all who seem hostile are enemies. Many are lost, confused, or influenced by darkness. Approach with clarity and empathy, but remain vigilant. Humans are capable of more than they know. Rilo felt a strange sense of calm as he piloted the shuttle under Mira's guidance. The stars outside were endless, each one holding a possibility, a story, a life. For the first time, he understood what Luma meant by the potential of humanity. They were not just passengers in the universe. They were explorers, guardians, and pioneers of hope. Hours passed, and Viralia appeared on the navigation screens. It was a small planet, its surface marked by deep canyons and glowing crystals that pulsed with faint energy. The distress signal originated from a mining colony on the surface. Energy readings were unstable, similar to the patterns Luma had shown in its map. Mira adjusted the shuttle's descent. "Stay alert. This could be dangerous. We do not know what we will face." As they entered the atmosphere, the shuttle shook slightly. The glow from the crystals grew brighter, surrounding the colony with an eerie light. Rilo, Jaro, and Mira exchanged looks of determination. Humanity had taken its first real step into the unknown, and their courage would guide them through whatever challenges lay ahead. Luma's voice echoed softly in their minds. "Remember your strengths. Observe carefully. Choose wisely. Humanity's rise begins here." The shuttle touched down gently and the hatch opened. A strange wind carried the energy of the crystals across their faces. Rilo felt a surge of anticipation. The adventure had only just begun. The shuttle landed softly on the rocky surface of Viralia. The planet's sky glowed faint green because of the light from its twin moons. Dust floated gently in the air, glowing faintly as it caught the light from the strange crystal field stretching across the horizon. Rilo stepped out first, his boots pressing into the soft soil. The ground vibrated slightly under his feet as if alive with hidden energy. Mira followed, scanning the area with her device. "Energy readings are everywhere," she said. "These crystals are reacting to something deep underground." Jaro looked around, holding his equipment ready. "I don't see any people. The distress signal came from this area, but the colony seems empty." Luma floated beside them, its glow steady and calm. "Be alert," it said. "The disturbance here is not natural. Something ancient sleeps beneath this ground." The three humans moved carefully toward the remains of the mining colony. The buildings were small metal structures half buried in dust. Some lights still flickered weakly, powered by whatever energy the crystals produced. Rilo opened the nearest door and stepped inside. Inside, tools lay scattered across the floor, and screens blinked faintly. It looked like the people had left in a hurry. Rilo checked the systems and found partial recordings. He played one. A voice filled the air. "This is Foreman Darren of Viralia Outpost. The crystals are spreading too fast. We tried to cut the energy flow, but it keeps growing. Something is moving inside the main shaft. We're evacuating the site." The message ended with static. Jaro frowned. "Something inside the mine?" "That doesn't sound good," Mira nodded. "We need to find out what they found. The energy readings are increasing every minute. If it continues, the crystals could overload and destroy this area." Rilo checked his scanner. "Luma, do you think the disturbance could be connected to you?" Luma pulsed once. "Yes, the energy signature is similar to mine, but twisted. It is what I warned about. The darkness spreads through corrupted forms of the same light that gives life. This one must be contained before it grows." Rilo took a deep breath. "Then we go to the mine." The entrance to the mine was half covered by glowing shards. The crystals pulsed like hearts, their colors shifting between blue and red. The air hummed softly, and each vibration made the ground tremble. Jaro placed a hand on the wall and felt it thrum under his skin. "It feels alive," he said quietly. "It is alive," Luma said, "but not in balance. It has been changed by the dark force." It consumes rather than creates. They entered the mine, lights from their suits cutting through the darkness. The tunnel stretched deep into the planet, walls lined with veins of glowing crystals. The deeper they went, the stronger the light became until the air itself shimmered. Mira studied her readings. Energy level is rising rapidly. It's strongest about 500 meters ahead. Rilo nodded. We'll reach it soon. As they walked, they noticed strange shapes forming in the crystal walls. Faces, or something like them, seemed frozen in the glowing stone. Rilo felt uneasy but pressed on. When they finally reached the central chamber, they stopped in shock. At the center of the massive cave floated a giant crystal formation, easily twice the size of their shuttle. It pulsed with a deep red light and black streaks ran through it like veins. The energy around it twisted and rippled, warping the air. This is the source, Luma said softly. It was once like me, a being of light. But darkness found it first. Now it consumes everything near it. Rilo stepped closer. Can we help it? Maybe we can heal it somehow. Luma floated forward. Perhaps. But it will resist. Darkness feeds on fear and chaos. You must stay calm or it will grow stronger. Jaro clenched his fists. What do? We combine our strength, Luma said. My energy will guide you. Together we can restore balance. The humans formed a circle around the corrupted crystal. Luma floated to the center and began to glow brighter. The red light flickered in response, almost like it recognized Luma. For a moment the air grew still. Then the crystal pulsed violently, and a loud hum shook the chamber. A wave of dark energy burst outward, knocking Rilo and Jaro off their feet. The walls trembled and pieces of rock fell from above. Mira grabbed her scanner, trying to stabilize the readings. The energy is fighting back, she shouted. Luma's voice echoed through the chaos. Hold your ground. Focus on light, on unity, on hope. Do not give in to fear. Rilo pushed himself up and reached toward the glowing sphere. We're with you, Luma. The corrupted crystal's red glow turned darker and strange shapes began to form within it. Shadowy figures moved inside, pressing against the surface like living nightmares. They whispered faintly, words that carried coldness and confusion. Rilo closed his eyes and focused on the sound of Luma's voice. Mira joined in, her voice firm. Light and reason must guide us. We stand together, Jaro added. Humanity will not run. We fight for what's right. Their voices seemed to strengthen Luma's glow. The chamber filled with white light, pushing back the red. The shadows inside the crystal screamed soundlessly and began to dissolve. The air shimmered as light spread through every corner of the cave. Then, silence. The red glow faded completely, replaced by soft blue light. The crystal now looked calm and pure like frozen water. Luma's glow dimmed slightly, but it spoke again, its tone peaceful. It is done. The corruption has been cleansed. The light has been restored. Rilo exhaled in relief. We did it. Mira smiled faintly. You mean humanity did it? We faced darkness and turned it back. Luma floated gently between them. Yes, this is why I chose you. Humanity's strength lies not in technology or size, but in heart and connection. You are not just explorers. You are guardians of balance. They spent several hours stabilizing the mine and scanning the area. The crystals now pulsed steadily, providing clean energy to the colony systems. When they returned to the surface, the air felt lighter, and the faint hum that had filled the planet's atmosphere had vanished. Jaro looked up at the sky. The stars look clearer, he said. Maybe even the planet feels relieved. Rilo nodded. Maybe this is what Luma meant about restoring balance. They sent a full report to the Council of Nova Prime. Within minutes, a reply arrived. The council congratulated them and requested a direct meeting as soon as they returned. Humanity's first off-world mission had succeeded. As their shuttle lifted off from Virelia, the team watched the glowing crystal fields fade into the distance. Each of them felt different. They had faced something unknown, something dangerous, yet they had prevailed through unity. Inside the shuttle, Luma rested quietly, its light softer than before. Rilo turned to it. Will we face more of these corrupted forms? Yes, Luma said. The darkness spreads across many systems. It will not stop easily, but now humanity has proven it can stand against it. Others will notice. Allies will come and perhaps enemies too. You must be ready. Mira adjusted the shuttle's controls. Then this is only the beginning. Yes, Luma said. You have taken the first step into a much larger path. During the journey home, Rilo thought deeply about what had happened. He had always dreamed of exploring the stars, but he had never imagined fighting forces that could shape worlds. Yet through it all, one truth stood strong. Humanity had potential beyond measure. When they arrived back at Nova Prime, crowds gathered near the spaceport. Word of their success had spread quickly. For the first time, humans had faced a cosmic threat and returned victorious. The council invited them to a special chamber, where leaders from across the colonies awaited. The silver-haired counselor smiled at them as they entered. "You have done what many believed impossible. You faced darkness and restored light. You have proven that humanity is ready to take its place among the guardians of the stars." Rilo, Jaro, and Mira stood proudly. They had no great ranks or titles, yet they had changed the course of history. Luma spoke once more. "This victory is only the beginning. The universe is vast and balance must be maintained. Darkness will rise again, but now humanity stands as a beacon of hope. You have shown that courage and unity can protect what is good." The council chamber filled with applause. Rilo felt warmth rise in his chest. He knew this was not the end, but a new beginning. Later that night, Rilo stood on a high balcony overlooking Nova Prime. The stars above seemed brighter than ever. He wondered what lay beyond them, what other worlds waited for discovery, what other challenges would come. Luma floated beside him silently. "You are thinking about the future," Luma said softly. "Yes," Rilo replied. "I'm wondering what's next for humanity." Luma glowed faintly. "Next comes growth. You will explore, learn, and protect. You will remind others that hope can shine even in the darkest places." Rilo smiled. "Then we'll be ready. Whatever comes, humanity will stand together." As the twin moons rose over Nova Prime, their light reflected in his eyes. The journey of the Terra explorers had only just begun, but already, humanity had made its mark among the stars. The universe watched silently. And somewhere deep beyond the known galaxies, shadows stirred once more, preparing for what was to come. The next few weeks passed in a blur of activity. Humanity's success on Varelia had changed everything. News spread across the colonies faster than light. For the first time in history, humans were seen as protectors, not just explorers. The Council of Nova Prime established the Terra Explorer program, dedicated to preparing more teams for interstellar missions. Rilo, Jaro, and Mira were placed at the heart of it. Rilo spent his mornings in the training bays, surrounded by recruits eager to follow in their footsteps. He showed them how to read energy patterns, how to stay calm in the unknown, and most importantly, how to work together. Though he was young, everyone listened to him with respect. They all knew he had faced darkness and returned victorious. Mira oversaw the scientific branch of the program. She and her team worked with Luma to study the light energy that had saved Varelia. They wanted to understand how to use it safely, how to harness it as a tool for peace rather than a weapon. Jaro, on the other hand, led tactical training. His focus was defense, teaching others how to protect, not destroy. His voice often echoed across the halls of the training arena as he shouted, "Remember, courage and unity are your greatest weapons." One evening, as the trio reviewed reports, Luma floated quietly nearby, its light dim and thoughtful. "You are growing quickly," Luma said. "Your people learn faster than I expected. But time is short. Darkness is not still. It moves silently, gathering power far beyond your borders." Rilo frowned. "Do you know where?" Luma projected a map of the stars, and several systems lit up in faint red. "These worlds are vanishing from communication. Entire colonies go silent. The same energy we faced on Varelia is spreading there." Jaro leaned forward. "Then we can't wait. We need to act before it reaches us," Mira nodded. "If those systems fall, it could affect the whole network. We have to find out what's happening." The council was quick to respond. Within hours, they authorized a reconnaissance mission to the Outer Rim. Rilo, Mira, and Jaro would lead a small crew aboard the Aurora, a newly built exploration vessel designed for deep space travel. It was sleek, strong, and filled with the best technology humanity had created. It symbolized how far humans had come, from planet-bound dreamers to explorers among the stars. As the Aurora prepared to launch, hundreds gathered to watch. The crowd cheered as the engines ignited, sending brilliant trails of blue light across the sky. Humanity's hope rode with them. Inside the ship, Rilo took the pilot seat. Jaro manned the defense systems, and Mira handled navigation. Luma floated near the control panel, its light gently pulsing. "Your destination is the Helion sector," it said. A cluster of worlds once full of life. If the darkness has reached there, you must observe, not engage unless there is no choice. The ship rose smoothly, cutting through the atmosphere and into the dark sea of stars. Rilo stared at the endless void ahead. It feels so quiet, he said. Space is never truly silent, Luma replied. You just have to listen differently. For days they traveled through the void. They passed dying stars and glowing nebulae that painted colors across their hull. Sometimes they saw traces of other civilizations, ancient ruins drifting in the dark, remains of forgotten worlds. Humanity was small compared to the vastness, but the Aurora moved forward with courage. When they finally reached the Helian sector, the mood changed. The stars here were dimmer. Whole regions of space looked as though light itself had been drained away. Mira ran a scan, her face tightening as she read the data. I'm picking up debris. Hundreds of ships, no life signs. Jaro looked at the display. It's like a graveyard. Rilo guided the ship closer. Broken vessels drifted silently, their hulls cracked and scorched. Some bore markings of alien empires, others of independent traders. Whatever had happened, it had not spared anyone. Luma floated forward. This is the work of the Silent Armada. The Silent what? Jaro asked. A fleet controlled by the darkness, Luma explained. They do not speak, they do not negotiate. They absorb energy and destroy worlds that resist. They have no leaders, only the will of the corruption that commands them. Mira felt a chill. Are they still here? Yes, Luma said softly. They are near. Before anyone could respond, the ship's sensors began to flash. Several massive objects appeared on the radar, moving fast. Rilo switched to manual control. We've been detected. Through the front window, they saw it. An enormous formation of dark ships emerging from the shadows. Their hulls were black like obsidian, reflecting no light. They moved silently, perfectly aligned like a single mind controlling hundreds of machines. Jaro's fingers danced across the defense panel. They're charging weapons. Raise shields, Mira said quickly. We can't fight them head-on. The first wave of energy blasts struck the Aurora. The ship shook, alarms blaring. Rilo gritted his teeth and pushed the engines to full power. Hold on. They darted between wreckage and asteroids, dodging bursts of dark energy that left trails of smoke behind. The Aurora's shields flickered under the assault, but the ship held together. Luma glowed brightly, its light spreading through the cabin. Follow my signal. I will mask your energy signature. Rilo guided the ship toward a nearby moon, using its gravity to slingshot them behind a shattered cruiser. The dark fleet passed above, unaware they had lost their target. Slowly, the radar went silent again. Jaro exhaled. That was close. Mira studied the readings. We need to learn more about them. If we run every time, we'll never understand how to stop them. Rilo nodded. Agreed, but we need to be smart about it. Maybe we can track their communication patterns. Luma pulsed softly. Their communication is not through sound or signal. It is through resonance. The darkness links their minds, spreading commands like a wave. It is efficient but vulnerable. If you can disrupt the connection, you can confuse them. Rilo thought for a moment. Then we need to find their control source. For the next several hours, they followed the Armada at a safe distance, recording every movement and pattern. They noticed how the ships turned in perfect synchronization, how no orders were ever spoken, and how all of them circled a single massive structure, a command vessel shaped like a jagged star. That's it, Mira said. The control point, Jaro smirked. And we're going to crash their silence. They developed a plan. Using Luma's light resonance, they would send a counter signal, a frequency that would break the link between the ships. It was risky. If detected, they would be destroyed instantly. But if it worked, the Armada would fall into chaos. As they approached the massive vessel, Rilo felt his heartbeat quicken. Luma, are you sure this will work? It will work, Luma said calmly. But it will require all of you to stay focused. Your minds must align. Your unity is the key. They positioned the ship behind a cluster of asteroids. Mira began calibrating the signal generator, while Jaro readied the shield boosters. Rilo closed his eyes, breathing slowly, focusing on Luma's glow. The sphere hovered at the center of the cabin, light expanding outward. Now, Luma said. Together. Rilo placed his hands on the console. Mira and Jaro did the same. The ship's systems hummed as light flowed through them. The countersignal pulsed outward, invisible but powerful. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the dark fleet stopped moving, One by one, their lights flickered. The perfect formation broke. Ships turned against each other, crashing and colliding. Explosions rippled across the void. The command vessel trembled, its energy core destabilizing. Relo stared in awe. It's working. But then the Aurora's systems began to overload. The counter signal was too strong, feeding back into their engines. Sparks flew from the panels and the ship shook violently. Mira shouted, "We have to stop the signal or the ship will tear apart." Luma's voice was steady. "Hold it a moment longer. The darkness must be scattered fully." The Aurora trembled harder. Jaro gritted his teeth. "Come on, hold together." Finally, the command vessel erupted in a blinding explosion. The Dark Fleet shattered completely, drifting lifelessly across the sector. The silence that followed was vast and deep. Luma dimmed slightly. "It is done. The connection is broken." Relo quickly shut down the signal and stabilized the engines. Smoke filled the cabin and warning lights blinked everywhere, but they were alive. He leaned back in relief. "We did it again," Mira smiled weakly. Humanity did it again. They recorded everything they had witnessed. The armada, the control resonance, the destruction. The data would help the Council prepare for future battles. But they knew this was only a small victory. The darkness had lost one fleet, not the war. As they prepared to return home, Luma's voice softened. "Each victory brings light, but do not grow careless. The darkness learns, it adapts. What you faced here is only one fragment of a greater shadow." Relo nodded. "Then we'll be ready." "We always will be." The Aurora turned toward Nova Prime. Behind them, the wreckage of the silent armada floated endlessly, a reminder that even in the vast cold of space, light could still triumph. When they reached Nova Prime, they were greeted as heroes once again. The Council declared their success as proof that humanity was capable of defending not just themselves, but others across the stars. Relo, Jaro, and Mira were now symbols of courage and unity. That night, as the city celebrated, the three of them stood together on a balcony overlooking the shining towers. The sky above glowed with countless stars, and somewhere among them, new missions waited. Months had passed since the fall of the silent armada. The story of the Aurora and its crew spread across every human world. People looked at the stars with pride now, not fear. For the first time, humans stood among the great species of the galaxy as equals. But even as celebrations filled the colonies, Relo, Mira, and Jaro could not rest. Luma's last words echoed in their minds. "The darkness learns. It adapts." The Council of Nova Prime summoned the trio once more. When they entered the Grand Hall, every leader was already there, their faces grave. On the central screen glowed a symbol, a spiral of black energy twisting across the map of the galaxy. Mira looked at it carefully. "This is spreading faster than before." One of the council members nodded. "It began near the Epsilon Belt. Entire systems are disappearing in hours. Not even distress signals make it out." Relo stepped forward. "We destroyed the Armada." "How is this possible?" Another leader spoke. "The Armada was only a tool. This seems like the heart of the corruption." "The source." Jaro clenched his fists. "Then we ended at the source." Luma floated into the center of the hall. Its light flickered softly. "The source is known as the Core of Shadows. It lies deep in uncharted space beyond known travel routes. No ship has ever gone that far and returned." Rilo looked at his friends. "Then it is time someone did." The council hesitated. They had already risked much. But everyone in that room knew that if the darkness reached inhabited worlds, no defense could stop it. Finally, the head counselor nodded. "You have our approval. The Aurora will lead this final mission. Find the source. End this once and for all." That night, the city was quiet as the trio prepared for departure. The new version of the Aurora gleamed on the launch pad, stronger and faster than before. It was fitted with upgraded shields, new resonance drives, and improved energy converters made from Luma's light technology. The people called it Aurora Prime. Mira stood beside the ship, her gaze thoughtful. "It feels like the last time." Jaro smiled faintly. "Let's make sure it's the last fight, too." Relo placed his hand on the hull. "No matter what happens, we go together." When dawn rose over Nova Prime, the Aurora Prime lifted into the golden sky. Crowds gathered below, waving and cheering. They knew these three represented all of humanity's hope. The journey began through known territories, but soon they entered uncharted space. The stars grew sparse, and strange distortions appeared outside the ship's window. Space itself looked twisted as if reality was bending around invisible forces. Mira kept scanning the area. Energy readings are unstable. It's like the laws of physics don't work here. Luma hovered calmly. You are nearing the border of the shadow core. Beyond this point, light cannot survive for long. Jarrow prepared the defenses. Good thing we brought our own light. As they crossed the border, everything changed. The stars vanished. The darkness was so deep it seemed alive, pressing against the ship from all sides. The sensors failed and the communication lines went silent. Only the faint glow of Luma kept the cabin visible. Relo tightened his grip on the controls. No signals. We're flying blind. Luma extended its light, creating a small path through the void. Follow the light. It will lead you forward. They moved through the emptiness for what felt like hours, maybe days. Time lost meaning. Strange whispers echoed through the ship. Not voices, but faint waves of thought. The darkness seemed to reach into their minds, trying to fill them with doubt. Mira frowned. Do you hear that? Yes, Jarrow said. It's trying to talk to us. Luma's glow brightened. Ignore it. The darkness feeds on fear. It wants to make you turn back, but they did not turn back. They kept moving until the path of light opened into a massive space. Before them hung a colossal sphere of swirling shadows. Bolts of energy flashed across its surface. It was not a planet or a star. It was alive, pulsing like a heart. Mira whispered, That's the core. Jarrow stared in awe. How do we destroy something that big? Luma's voice grew softer. It cannot be destroyed by force. It must be purified. The core is an ancient wound in the universe. It feeds on imbalance, anger, fear, despair. To end it, you must bring harmony. Relo looked at the core again. Then we use your light, Luma. The small being floated closer. My light alone is not enough. Humanity must add its own. You three have shown courage, compassion, and unity. Those are the true lights that can heal the darkness. Relo, Mira, and Jarrow exchanged glances. They understood what Luma meant. They had to combine their strength, not their weapons, but their hearts. They positioned the Aurora Prime near the core. Mira linked the energy systems to Luma's resonance chamber. Jarrow synchronized the ship's shields to amplify the signal. Relo placed his hands on the main control and closed his eyes. Ready, ready, Mira and Jarrow said together. Luma floated to the center of the cabin. Its glow expanded, filling every corner. Focus on your purpose. Remember who you are. Remember why humanity fights, not for conquest, but for hope. The three humans focused their minds. Their memories flowed. The colonies they saved, the people who believed in them, the laughter, the fear, the triumphs. Light began to surge through the ship, glowing brighter and brighter until it pierced the darkness outside. The core responded violently. Waves of shadow energy lashed out, striking the Aurora Prime. The ship trembled. Alarms screamed. But the light held. Jarrow shouted, Shields at 60%. Mira replied, Hold steady. Don't lose focus. The resonance deepened and Luma's voice echoed like a song. Do not fight the darkness. Surround it. Embrace it. Relo guided the ship closer. The Aurora Prime's light merged with the core's swirling storm. It was like watching night and day collide. The shadows screamed, twisting and spiraling as beams of white energy spread through them. Suddenly, a vision filled their minds. They saw countless worlds, no human, alien, unknown, all connected by faint threads of energy. The darkness had been touching all of them, spreading wherever fear took root. But now the light was reaching back, restoring balance. Mira whispered, It's working. Luma's voice grew faint. Yes, but the core resists. It will take everything we have. The ship shook again. Panels cracked and sparks filled the air. Jarrow struggled to keep the system stable. Engines are burning out. Rilo stayed calm. Keep going. We're almost there. The core grew brighter, its outer shell breaking apart into ribbons of dark energy. At the center, a faint golden glow began to appear, the heart of creation hidden inside the corruption. Luma's light wrapped around it like a cocoon. This is the end, Luma said softly, or perhaps a beginning. Then the world exploded in light. For a moment there was nothing but silence. No darkness, no sound, no movement, just calm. When the light faded, Relo opened his eyes. The core was gone. In its place was a newborn star, shining warmly where the wound once had been. Mira looked around. We did it. Jarrow smiled tiredly. We actually did it. But Luma's light was dimmer now. It floated weakly near them. My purpose is complete. The balance is restored. The universe no longer needs me. Rilo reached out. No, we still need you. Luma's light pulsed gently. You do not need me, Rilo. You are the light now. All of you. Humanity carries what I once guarded. Mira's eyes grew misty. Will we ever see you again? Every time you look at the stars, Luma said, you will see me there. And every time you choose hope over fear, you keep my light alive. With that, Luma's glow faded slowly, breaking into tiny sparks that floated through the air like fireflies. They drifted out of the ship and vanished into the newborn star. The silence that followed was peaceful. The Aurora Prime drifted gently near the new light. The system stabilized. The sensors came back online. Outside, space was calm again. No corruption, no distortion. Just endless stars. Rilo took a deep breath. Let's go home. The journey back was long but quiet. As they neared Nova Prime, their communication system came alive with countless voices cheering and calling their names. Humanity had been watching the distant skies. They had seen the explosion of light that marked the end of the darkness. When the Aurora Prime landed, millions waited to greet them. The streets glowed with banners and lights. The council stood at the center, smiling with tears in their eyes. The head counselor spoke. You have done what no one else could. You brought balance not just to our people, but to the galaxy. Humanity will never forget the light you carried. Rilo, Mira, and Jarrow stood together, smiling humbly. They did not see themselves as heroes, and only as humans who refused to give up. Behind them, the newborn star shone in the sky, a new symbol of hope for every world. That night, the three friends gathered once more on the balcony overlooking the city. The wind was soft and the lights of the towers reflected off the water below. Mira looked up at the stars. Do you think it's really over? Rilo smiled. Maybe not forever, but for now the galaxy can rest. Jarrow leaned back. And if darkness ever returns, we'll rise again. Humanity always does. They stood there in silence, watching the sky. Somewhere among the stars, they could almost feel Luma's warmth watching over them. The Aurora Prime rested in its dock, ready for the next call, and across the galaxy, new explorers prepared to follow their path, guided by the story of three humans who brought light to the darkest corners of space. The dawn of a new age had begun. Humanity, once small and uncertain, now stood among the stars as keepers of hope.